So we're going to look at how we can, or one way of formatting numeric values. So if we take the example I've got in the code here, I'm just dividing 10 by 3. If I print that out, I get a result which you'll see is 3.3 recurring, and then eventually get to a 5 when we lose the precision from the double data type. Now let's assume we were representing a grade and we wanted to show 2 decimal places here. We need to convert it to some kind of string. Now, we obviously look to converting things to string, but that doesn't give us the control we might want over the number of decimal places that we have. So what we can do instead is we can create an instance of a class called the DecimalFormat class and specify a rule as to how we want the output to be formatted. Okay, and we can determine whether or not we want to show what significant digits we want to show, for example. So let's do that. Let's create a DecimalFormat class. Okay, I'm going to just delete the line result there, and we'll give it a name. We'll call it formatter, and we'll say it's a new decimal format class. Now we can go about setting a format for that. Okay, so you'll notice we can provide a parameter to the constructor. So this is the constructor that we call, a bit like when we create a new scanner, we pass in system.in. That's passing system.in to the constructor for scanner. We're passing a string into the constructor for decimal format. Okay, and what that allows us to do is to specify the way digits are displayed both before and after the decimal point. Okay, and there's more to it than this, and we can, for example, if we were doing some kind of other type where we made symbols, we could put symbols in as well. But for now, I'm just going to concentrate on simple numbers. So we'd put in our decimal point, and then we'd specify the requirement for digits before or after. Okay, now after decimal point, if we use a 0, it will guarantee that that digit is shown. Okay. If we use a hash, it will show if there's significance to that digit. Okay, so let's we'll just do it, and we'll force for now. We'll say we've got to show at least 1, and before the decimal point, it will show as many digits as we need. Okay, but this means we'll guarantee to show at least 1 digit before decimal point, even if the value is less than 1. And here we guarantee to show 2 after it. Okay, we can then use the formatter to format our, in this case, our result. Okay, this will return a string, so we could say string formatted result, and then we could print out our formatted result. And what we'll do, we'll run that, and then we'll play around with the different patterns and see how they look. So here we go. So we've guaranteed 1 digit before the decimal point and 2 after. Okay, that's what we've got, 1 before, 2 after. Now let's see what happens if we make this number much smaller. Okay, so we're going to set it to 13 divided by 13, so that's going to give us a value much lower. This is 0.77, but again, we've guaranteed a value before. Okay, we could guarantee 2 values before, like this. If I run it again, we'll get 2 zeros, 0.77. Okay, let's try something else. Let's divide 5. Oh no, let's do 2 by 4. Okay, so we'll get rid of the leading 0. Okay, and dividing 2 by 4 should give us half. Okay, so ordinarily, if we didn't do any formatting, if I just print result for a second, so we're just ignoring all of this. I'll comment it out to make that clear. Okay, if I do this, we get 0.5. Okay, if I use my formatted result, we should get 2 digits after the decimal point. Okay, now the other thing we can do is to decide whether we want those digits to be shown if they have significance. So in this there's no significance to this 0. Okay, we don't learn anything new by having that there. Okay, so what we could do is we could say, well, always show at least 1 decimal point. Okay, oops. But the hash means only show the the next digit if it has meaning, if it's not, for example, is essentially not a 0 or wouldn't round to a 0. So if we run that again, we'll see that it only shows 0.5. But if I change this back to divide 10 by 3, there is meaning to that second digit, so it shows that. But obviously we're still limited to 2. Okay, so essentially we just need to choose, for simple formatting, is there a requirement to show that digit or a particular number of leading digits? Is there a requirement to show any number of trailing digits, or do we only want to show trailing digits when they're useful? So for example, if I do this, 10 divided by 3, we'll still get 3.3. Okay, but if I do 10 divided by 2, we just get 5. We don't get any of those digits there. Okay, so that's an introduction to the decimal format class. The other thing just to mention is this is not the only way of formatting strings. I'm not going to talk about the others in the videos, but 2 other ways that you should be familiar with and I'd advise you to research. One is the string class has a method called format, so you should probably have a read of that. And there also is a formatter class built into it's in the java.util package, so java.util.formatter. So those would be areas I'd suggest you look at to see how they can be used as well.